Hello, Karma Chameleon Tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play Shadowrun Dragonfall with me, BlueAnkylo. So, last episode we finished our AG Chemi run, and we successfully, we rescued the Mark 6 prototype, which turns out was actually a troll that's been basically mind-controlled and forced into a life of torture. So we put it out of its misery, or allowed it to put itself out of its misery. And we'll see if we get paid properly for doing that today or not. We also did a side objective, we did the drop point at the end of the mission, and got a little bit of spending cash. Now, I did realize, between episodes, that I've got loads of karma from that mission. We got, I think, 10 for the main mission and 2 for the side objective. And I think we had a little bit of leftover before that, or something around those kind of numbers. So I think it's only fair that we level up. Lady Blue has clearly been having difficulties with body and quickness, like not getting murdered, but she's also been damaged significantly by magic attacks, and theoretically willpower will help reduce the 2-hit chance from enemy magic. So my thinking here is I already wanted to get spellcasting 6 so we could learn, I believe, the better armor and aim spells. I know I'm drifting away from my shaman roots here with charisma and summoning. We could also go for spirit summoning and use... I think this allows you to equip better... or use higher level fetishes for stronger spirits. And it might make the spirits you summon from the map, the spawn points, that might make them stronger, but I don't know. And then Conjuring allows us to use the higher tier shaman spells. I don't know. I'm not... I like my shaman, I like my spirits and stuff, but I don't think it's very good. And then charisma, we've already got a pretty high charisma at this point, and you have to, it's pretty expensive to go much higher. So anyway, what I think is the clear choice here is, I already went past it. We're going to upgrade willpower, that's 6 points. We're going to upgrade spellcasting. This should unlock a couple more normal mage spells for us. And that might be as high as we go in the normal mage spells, unless we see something really good. Although, seeing ley lines through the fog of war might be valuable. I'm not sure if we'll go any higher than 6 here. As we get towards the late game, things start costing a lot. And I really would like to upgrade my dodge and quickness and body a little bit, because we seem to just get smashed in combat. And I do know that we need level 3 intellect for some of the spells, so I'm going to pick that up. Also, it's quite cheap, so I'm not really missing out on too much. For 5 points, we could have gone a little bit more quickness, or a little bit of dodge, or the intelligence. So we'll go intelligence for now. The biotech might not be a bad idea either. Healing more with medkits, I mean, we do use those, so it's not all a horrible idea. But we're not an intelligent spec character. So anyway, with that, we'll have to go shopping again. But first off, let's go back to our base and have a little chat with some people. See what's been happening while we were away. Shouldn't there be a blizz here? A blitz? Alright. Apparently we've got an important discussion. Everyone's gathered up. As you step forward, the rest of your team falls silent. Amsel shifts his attention to you. You can see the worry on his face. Lady Blue, I have new information. I'm afraid that the news isn't good. Right, you said that over the comm. What's going on? 2 years ago, a large shipment of highly lethal radioactive bioweapon disappeared en route to a storage facility in Dresden. The weapon was designated X-15. I have traced the path of the missing shipment. It was delivered to the Harfield Manor, which was the place we went to and lost, I forget her name already, but our original team leader. Something. Monica? Monica, probably. Well, that sounds horrible. It is. I've heard of this stuff before. Back in the service, we called it Doom. I've never run across it in the wild, but I've heard enough horror stories to know that I don't want to. The stories that you've heard are correct. This Doom is an extremely dangerous substance. He gestures to a technical document on his computer's display. I've been reading up. To this day, the story of Doom remains a cautionary tale in biotech circles. Monoclonal antibody technology is strictly regulated now, and this substance is one of the reasons why. What does this stuff do exactly? Amsel clears his throat and reads aloud from the information on his screen. Doom kills by destroying a host's muscle tissue via radioactive decay. Each individual Doom antibody is bound to a radioactive bismuth-212 isotope. When introduced into a host, these antibodies bind to surface-level muscle tissue. The tissue is then killed with alpha radiation. The process repeats itself until the host wastes away and dies. Jesus. Eiger nods grimly. I've heard that Doom was deployed in a couple of border skirmishes back in 41. After seeing what it did to people up close, the UCAS passed a unilateral ban on the stuff. That doesn't tell you how bad it is, nothing will. Okay, so I hesitate to ask, but what would a dragon want with this Drek? Nothing good. Yeah, that pretty much goes without saying. This development worries me, Lady Blue. It worries me greatly. Well, if the dragon is stockpiling bioweapons, we've got an even bigger problem than we thought. There is a moment of silence, then Dietrich speaks up. Well, in my book, it doesn't change anything. I mean, it ups the stakes if the Firewing is allowed to carry out her plans, whatever those might be, but we're going to stop her before that happens. That was always the plan, far as I'm concerned. It's still the plan now. I agree with Dietrich. We need to focus on what's in front of us. Whatever the dragon's larger plans might be, the fact is that she is after us. We shouldn't let ourselves get distracted by anything else. Well, what if she just releases, this doom on Berlin to kill us? You know, she'd kill the whole city just to make sure we're dead. Ansel is slow to respond. Finally, he nods. Yes, I concur. For the time being, we must continue forward. And that means that you must continue working towards raising Alice's fee. I'll leave the matter in your capable hands, Lady Blue. When you've acquired the necessary funds and are ready to head out to the rabbit hole, let me know. From there, we will discuss our next steps. Eiger nods. Good, if you need us, I'll be getting prepped in the next room if you need me. Right behind you, love. Dietrich casts a backward glance at Glory. If any of this has an impact on her, she doesn't show it. Come on, Glory, let's go. Alright, team. Well, let's see if we got paid. I always like to check the computer first. Everyone else can wait. Okay, we have one unread message. The screen flickers to life, and Malit's face appears. She wears a plastic smile. Oi again, Lady Blue. Well, I've recovered one last DVD for you, but I'm afraid that's all you're going to get. You might as well use the rest as coasters. They're all beyond repair. If you look on the table beside your DVD player, you'll find the disc that I salvaged. Does anyone even know what a DVD player is? I know I made the joke before, but still. She pauses, a slight frown across her face. To be completely honest, that was a lie. To recover this last disc, I was forced to subcontract. Shrotty is still a brute of a man. I'm unimpressed with his manner, and his poor hygiene disgusts me. But he is very good with old things such as this. All credit where it's due. The message ends, and the image fades. You find yourself back in your inbox. So I wonder if there's going to be consequences of this other guy being involved, or if it's fine. Jobs directory. Claim payment for Mark 6. Do we get money? You submit the job as finished and await your client's response. A few moments later, a message pops onto the screen. Eller Schmidt. To call your work unsatisfactory would be an understatement. When I said that we wanted the prototype, it should have gone without saying that we wanted an intact and operational. You technically fulfilled the terms of our arrangement, so you will get paid. Don't ever expect to work for us again, Schmidt. Well, you know, you gotta live with yourself. And if they ever really need someone, they'll still hire us again, you know. We're that good. A moment later, a second message pops up into your inbox. Payment details. 22,000 new yen, minus crew salary, minus ammunition, minus automatic deductions. Oh, man. Taxes in this place. This business is rough. I get to keep less than 4,000. I get like 25% of the deal. Man, work so hard, get so little. Alright, we have pending jobs. The Aztec Sabotage Run. That's the big one. I'm not looking forward to doing that just yet. I think we might be able to get a couple more side missions before we do that. But we'll see. How is that Alice Fund doing? We're actually almost there. I could spend my own money to get it. If I had 10,000 nuyen in my wallet, I could finish it right now. But I think that'd be silly. We should do the As technology run. It might finish it off on its own, and then we can just spend our money on goodies. Check the Shadowland. Search. Do we have any pay data? I don't think we have any pay data from that last mission. Formula 17. Oh, right. So we spread this information out via the Shockrowellen writer, I believe. So sometimes some people know about this stuff. So we've all seen this one floating about the tricks. This is some serious stuff. It's got heavy-duty corp written all over it. Not a lot of players could be behind something like this. Ares or SK or maybe one of the big pharma corps, say Sharing or AG Chemi. Of course, you can never totally discount the Azzies either. Tolstoy, my esteemed colleague, this is indeed a recipe for some top-shelf Drek. Whispers from the shadows say this is a source straight from the F-state. It is, actually. Good stuff. Hello, boys. I'm a big fan. You know, long-time reader, first-time poster. Quite an interesting concoction you have there. I'm just itching to cook some up. So many interesting properties to play with. I've already got a few tweaks in mind for my own special version 2.0. Yeah, that's the problem with sharing with everyone, is that some people, once it's gone out, you gotta get some creeps trying to make it. You sure you want to do that? This stuff doesn't play nice, and corps are really bad at sharing their toys. You can, of course, always share their secrets for them. You just gotta make sure that you run a little faster than them. Always running, eh? Like clockwork. Oh, they're making fun of all their names now. Very clever. Bandit, I'm touched by your concern, but don't you worry about little old me. I do declare this shall be ever such fun. Alright, well, I have mixed feelings about sharing that on the interwebs or the Matrix. But, you know, clearly AG Chemi was going to use it for no good. So maybe someone can find an antidote to it, or, you know, I think in the grand scheme of things, it'll be better to have that kind of information out so people know what they're dealing with, and, you know, sure, there'll be some more spread of the using it for ill, but at least people will, I don't know. Please help me find my daughter. She ran away from home. She is human, in her early 20s, short black hair and data jacket. She was last seen wearing a light blue dress. Worried mother. This is not exactly the place to be looking for missing kids. How'd you even get in here? I paid good money to get on here. I was told you people could help. And if you've got the nuyen, you came to the right place. I sent you a number you can reach me at. The old help me find my missing kid routine. A classic. My money is on an escaped wage slave. Make sure you do your homework, Ruby. Yeah, it sounds vaguely Nigerian princey in modern terms. Anyone have a good backup plan for when you get stuck with a tracer? Barely managed to bug out of my apartment after a corp hit squad came knocking. Lesson learned. Pat yourself down a couple times. Make sure you don't have a tail. But if I miss something, I'd rather keep my safe houses, you know, safe. Had good luck with the RF blockers. I have a jamming grid set up near my safe house. Projects any signals to a few miles away where I've got some cameras placed. So when someone shows up there, I know they were trying to find me. Then I do a thorough sweep to find the tracker. That's smart. Sharp. How long does that go on before they give up? Usually rule of threes. I keep reprojecting the signal to different locations. In my experience, they give up after the third one is a dead end and stop listening to that RF signal. Ha! Well, if you're ever playing the pen and paper Shadowrun game, maybe you should consider setting up something clever like that so your game master doesn't just murder you. Alright. I think that's everything, basically. Guess we should talk to some of our friends, see if there's anything interesting coming up. That was a big mission, so I would expect maybe some dialogue. Glory favors you with a weak smile. Her expression cautious. You're suddenly aware of how very small she is. Boy, Lady Blue, I gotta admit, I've been dreading this. So, now that you know what I've done, what I am, are you here to tell me off? I wouldn't blame you if you were. Nah, we're friends. We're not gonna be like that. No, Glory, I'm not here to tell you off. Truth be told, I wanted to check in and see how you were doing. Not great. Struggling. About how you'd expect. Well, we left off in a bad place last time. I've been thinking about your story and I have a question for you. Yeah? What's that? Well... these are all reasonable options. What do you think is going to be the most effective with Glory's personality? Closure? Nah, she ran away. She doesn't want closure. Shutting him down might not be a bad idea. I don't know if she's looking to atone, though. You got out of Stella. The cult is still running. I think maybe we'll appeal to her. Like, she seems like... honestly, she seems like a good person nowadays. Or at least that's what she's trying to be. So, a good person would maybe try to rescue the kids that are being brainwashed. And she doesn't want what happened to her to happen to other people. So, you got out of Stella, but Harrow's cult is still up and running, right? Still full of kids who are being brainwashed and worse. Shouldn't we do something about that? She holds her silence for a long time. Finally, she nods. Yes, I've been thinking about this for a long time, Lady Blue, and every time that I've gotten close to making a decision, I've turned and run away again. No more running, I'm ready to face this thing, but I can't do it alone. I'm gonna need your help. Glad we're on the same page. Alright, if we're gonna do this, we need to be clear on what our goal is. There are a lot of innocent people in that place, lost street kids who get sucked in by Marta and the other girls like her. Saving them won't be easy, but it feels like the right thing to do. But then, there's also Harrow to consider. I want that man dead. Lord knows he deserves it. And if we don't make killing him our top priority, he might get away from us. If that happens, if he runs, he'll eventually start up another cult somewhere else where we can't find him. And all of this will have been for nothing. We're likely to run into other complications as well, so I think that we need to make a decision here up front. What would you do in my place? Rescue the kids or take down Harrow? I don't think we can manage both. Well, I don't actually know. Like, we take out Harrow, that's the head of the snake, but we might cause some collateral damage here. Or we focus on rescuing people. I could see this going really poorly, though. If we don't focus on Harrow, we might save some kids. Some of them might turn on us, maybe bog us down. Harrow, I think you've got to go after the leader. You've got to stop it. And try to save as many as you can. We'll save any... yeah. But, I mean, that's a tough call. I don't know. We wipe out the cult, starting with Harrow. As long as he's alive, he can just start all over again. We'll save any cultists we can, but the ones that are too far gone, we'll have to be put down. Because that's the truth. You can't save people if they're so far gone that they're willing to kill us. Like, you know, there's only... you know, I don't know if it's the two of us or a full run. The Blitz mission was just, you know, me and him, basically. So... gotta be realistic here. We might have to kill some kids that have been brainwashed. Harrow needs to die. I don't want any other kids hurt or killed. But Harrow, that bastard, has to pay for what he has done. She stops as if suddenly unsure of herself. A moment later, a newfound confidence seems to seize her. She looks to you, and there's fire in her eyes. He has to pay for what he did to all of us. I won't let this happen again. He needs to die. I mean... If we weren't Shadowrunners, you know, if we were the traditional good guy heroes, maybe we would play the rescue the children and worry about the bad guy later. But I think the greater good here is to stop Harrow. And even if we saved a bunch of children, you know, even if we could somehow, like, I don't know, how do you unbrainwash them, right? Like, that's not an easy job. That's not our thing. The best we're going to be able to do is stop him from continuing to gather recruits. Yeah. You're damn right he does. Meet me at the van when you're ready to go. It's a long drive. I'll see you there. Well, there's definitely one side mission. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the mission would change if we tried to save the children, but... going for vengeance. Eiger glances up from her PDA at the sound of your approach. Lady Blue, this isn't the best of times. Her body language is self-assured, but you can hear the anxiety in her voice. Something has her worried, and in a big way. Talk to me, Eiger. If something's putting you on edge, I want to know what it is. There's a long pause. Finally, she turns her PDA so that you can look at the screen. This. The image that greets you is the hollow pic of a rail-thin orc with jet black hair. Who am I looking at? His name is Yuli Kozlov, but he's better known by the handle The Engineer. He's a mercenary, ex-Spetsnaz, one of the best in the field. I ran up against him in my KSK days. Okay, tell me more. His specialties are social engineering and wet work. In practice, he spends most of his time paving the way for organized crime syndicates to seize new territory. He sets up bribes, takes out key members of the opposition, and forges alliances with existing street gangs. All of the groundwork that a syndicate needs. He's extremely bad news, Lady Blue, and my contact spotted him in the Shet Nest. Yeah, that's a little too close to the Critz Bazaar for comfort. Exactly. I've seen what the engineer can do up close. My KSK unit tracked him a few years ago. I had him in the sights of my rifle, but I was ordered to hold fire. We couldn't afford to give away our position. To this day, I regret obeying that order. I saw what happened to the town after he was softening. The town he was softening up. Lady Blue, I have to stop him before it's too late. What happened to that town? It can't be allowed to happen again in Shet Nest. Look, we're trying to play the relatively good guy here. But we can't save the world. But if we can kill one scummy villain who's up to no good, I'm down. Agreed. Do you know who he's working for? The safest bet would be a Russian syndicate. But there's no telling. His client list is longer than you'd expect. Alright. Well, I know for a fact that he's worked with the mafia groups operating inside and outside of Russia, and he put in a lot of time with the Lobachevsky syndicate. He's taken contract with the triads as well. My contacts tell me that he's even done a few jobs for Tamanis. I don't know who that is. Alright, what do we do? We stop him. Or rather, I stop him. She looks you in the eye. I can't ask you to put off our mission for this, but the engineer has to be stopped, so I'm going to have to disappear for a run or two. I know how important it is that we resolve the Fierschwingi's situation. I get it, but I can't just sit back and let this happen. She shakes her head. I won't. Well, I mean, she does like the assertive decision. Maybe we should be assertive here. Well, this is pretty assertive. This might be over the line. I don't know. You know, you gotta earn Eiger's respect, but I think we're at the point where she trusts us, so we should be okay. If the Critz Bazaar is at risk, this is too important of a job to rest on the shoulders of one person. I'm going with you. End of story. Alright, fearless leader, you're right. I could use the help, but the others, they can't know about this. This is going to be a quiet job, 2 people max. You sure you're prepared for this? If you can't hold up your end, I'll be better off on my own. Look, you're worrying about hitting someone with a sniper rifle. I will cast magical aim bonus on you so you don't miss. And then I will put armor on you and heal you. And I'll be hiding around the corner somewhere. You'll be thankful. You'll be grateful to have me with you. You watch it. Don't worry about me. I'm solid. Yeah, I know. Grab your things and meet me at Der Weinkeller. I've got a contact who's going to join us there, and she can help us figure out our next step. Alright, we got side missions galore here. Should check my stash out. So I do have that cool gun that apparently no one's going to be able to equip. I guess I've got a couple med kits. Can I... There we go. Oh, it's a minus button. I didn't think that was a minus button. That's the move over. But yeah, 3 med kits is actually a little bit overkill. So I might sell like the Jazz and the basic med kit. Keep a couple for later. And this way we can pick stuff up when we're on missions. And we'll probably upgrade some spells here. Yeah. So we'll have to go to the shop run today. Oh, also we've got a DVD to watch. We've got all kinds of cool stuff for today. The media tray of the DVD player slides out, blah, blah, blah. Watch the 4th DVD. A soft whirring sound fills the air as the ancient DVD player spins the disc up to speed. The scratched LCD display comes to life. The DVD player ramps up its speed, filling the air with a shrill, whirling sound. Green Winter's face appears on the screen. 2050. April 28th. This is it, the interview. Took some digging to find it, but here he is, my big brother, back in his prime. The note disappears, and for a moment the screen goes blank. Suddenly, image of a news correspondent flashes on screen, accompanied by a brief orchestral flourish. A timestamp on the upper right of the screen reveals the date. August 22nd, 2012. Wow. Sure hope you're not in Berlin, because 5 years ago it was burned to the ground. Or wherever this is. Thank you for joining us. We are coming to you live from the ruins of Songhausen, the 5th Harz Mountain town to be sacked by the dragon Fürschwingi. Standing by my side is the head of Deal Defense, Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Dr. Vauclair has been hailed as a leader in the effort to bring down Fürschwingi and end her reign of terror. Dr. Vauclair, tell us about your efforts in bringing down the dragon. Killing the monster has proven difficult, to say the least. Her speed and maneuverability in the air are extraordinary. Her scales repel small arms fire, and her breath can melt steel. Our R&D teams have been working around the clock to devise a weapon capable of downing the beast. In the interim, we are providing material support to the Luftwaffe's attempt to shoot her down via conventional means. Herr Vauclair, why are you directing Deal Defense's energies to the killing of Fürschwingi? Are the corporate interests in play? Corporate interests? No, this is a matter of human interest. Innocent lives are being extinguished at an appalling rate. I'm in a position to help put an end to the slaughter, and so I must. It really is that simple. Dr. Vauclair, you must understand my skepticism. Our viewers aren't looking for a PR statement. They come to us for the I'm afraid I don't have time to go back and forth with this. Your viewers can think what they wish. My concern is in helping the people affected by this tragedy. In that case, Dr. Vauclair, I thank you for sharing your valuable time. You're very welcome. To the viewers at home, stay safe and watch the skies. Salvation is coming, I promise. Again, that was Dr. Adrian Vauclair, CEO of Deal Defense. Dr. Vauclair is the chief architect of the military's current plan to bring down the dragon Fürschwingi. Stay tuned for more late-breaking news on the Battle of the Harz Mountain. We'll be right back. Alright, I mean, sounds like he was off to a good start. The display goes blank for a moment, and Green Winter shows up with a look of astonishment. This is a few months later, November 17th. Holy shit! I just stumbled onto some of Adrian's old lab notes. I'm not going to say how I came across these. Someone might get hurt if the wrong people watch this. But I've checked them against some of Adrian's old handwritten writing samples, and they're legit. Oh shit, this is big. Alright, okay, back up, slow down. Breathe. He takes a moment to compose himself. Okay, so these notes, they pretty much confirm something that I'd always suspected. The Luftwaffe did not shoot down Fürschwingi. I mean, they tried. They pumped thousands of rounds into the air around her, and they lobbed rockets at her for months, lost a lot of attack helicopters and fighter craft in the process. But none of those things were responsible for taking her down. The Dragonfall was caused by an experimental warhead, one that Adrian and his Deal Defense think tank designed. I don't understand the science of it, not even a little bit. But from what I can piece together, it looks like they designed some sort of chemical radiological agent that acts on the metagene. I don't think that they fully understood what they were doing. It was 2012 after all. I mean, the process worked, but I don't know if they understood why it worked. Anyway, when a warhead full of this stuff comes into contact with a dual-natured creature, like a dragon, say, it drives a wedge between the creature's physical and astral forms. The body gets put into a sort of hibernation state, and the spirit is forced out. It also looks like this process can maintain that state of separation indefinitely. That's a pretty horrifying thought. A discorporated body's supposed to die in a few hours. I've heard horror stories about ghost-walking mages getting trapped in the astral plane, unable to rejoin with their meat. I heard they went crazy from the pain. If what I'm reading is accurate, it's entirely possible that Fürschwingi has been trapped outside of her body for 40 years. The dragons are not the same as humans with the astral plane and stuff. Like, they're obviously a living creature, but not in the same category as humans. So maybe they can survive it. Winters pushes his chair back and slaps the table in front of him. This is why Adrian was always so cagey about the subject of Fürschwingi after the Dragonfall. He knew for a fact that she was alive, even if only technically. Her body crashed down in the socks, sure, but she wasn't dead. The government wouldn't let Adrian tell the public about any of this, of course. It'd interfere with the lie that they were feeding us, that the Firewing was dead and that everyone was safe, and that people should stop hiding in their basements and get back to work. But privately, he always said that she was still out there, somewhere deep in socks. I'd always thought that he was paranoid, but I was wrong. He knew. So, what does all this mean? It means that the stories I got from the ghost rats suddenly sound a lot more plausible. I mean, that Fürschwingi is definitely alive, and that Adrian's disappearance is unquestionably tied to her survival. It also means that Germany is in deep shit. Because if Fürschwingi is still alive, it's only a matter of time before she rears her ugly head again. Alright, that's enough for one night. I'm going to get drunk. Yeah, that's pretty bad. If the dragon body is comatose, but her spirit, her astral presence is still out there, that can still do stuff. And I bet you she has plans to regain corporeal form and maybe get vengeance on us humans for basically putting her through hell for 40 years. Oh dear. The DVD player ramps up to speed, filling the air with a shrill sound. Green Winter's face appears on the screen. He looks younger than you've ever seen him, but from the way he's carrying himself, he's clearly drunk. I don't know, I've been keeping track of the dates. I thought we were in 2040 before, but I don't know, we're back and forth. Look, Adrian, I understand you. Lord knows I do, but you've got to drop this dragon fixation. People are starting to talk. Oh, this was definitely before he disappeared then. There is a camera out, and you find yourself looking at a young, handsome Dr. Adrian Vauclair. He wears a slight smile on his face. Oh, they're talking, are they? What a terrible shame. Damn it, Adrian, this is serious. You're a public figure. You can lose everything if you don't keep those ridiculous fairy tales to yourself. Hermie, my theories are not as you call them fairy tales. Dragons are real. I saved Germany from one. Have you forgotten? No, of course not. Everyone knows you killed the Firewing. Stopped. Not killed. Fine, stopped, whatever. Winters swipes a bottle off the table in front of him, drains it, and drops to the floor. Call it whatever you want, but Adrian, you're the only one who's still this obsessed with the damn thing. There aren't that many of them, and they're not taking over this world. Vauclair's voice is quiet, soft. Such is the cry of the cancer patient, unaware of what's killing him. I'm fine, not to worry. I'll smoke another cigarette. What's the harm? He doesn't see what's happening, but he winds up dead all the same. Winters snorts. Now you're just being maudlin. Look, Adrian. Vauclair shakes his head. His smile has disappeared. You mark my words, Hermie. Within 5 years, corporations, even countries, will fall to these creatures. And the worst part is nobody will care. Oh, people will tut-tut about it, but there may be a protest or two, but nobody will actually do anything to them to stop them. The immortal, all-powerful, utterly pitiless reptiles will seize more and more of our power, wealth, and territory. And we foolish, short-sighted mortals will never get it back. Green Winters chuckles uncomfortably, raises his hands in the air with a supplicating gesture. Come now, Vauclair talks over his brother's interruption. We could solve the problem, of course, but we, as a species, are unwilling to invest our energy into problems that aren't sitting right in front of us. As it was with climate change, so it is with dragons. I've accepted that, but you can't ask me to stop caring about it. Winter shakes his head. You're hopeless, Adrian. Fine, by all means, keep caring. Just keep your conspiracy theories to yourself. I'm telling you for your own sake. Vauclair sighs. He looks incredibly tired. Yes, Hermie, you're right, of course. I mustn't jeopardize my credibility with the masses. Winter's expression turns serious. His voice lowers. It's not just your credibility that I'm worried about. Talk is talk, but sometimes I worry you're really going to go back to the socks. Hermie, Please, big brother, just drop all of this. Stop hunting the Firewing and start living your life again. If you won't do it for yourself, then for Christ's sake, do it for me. Alright, Hermie. I'll try. The image cuts to static. So, I mean, Adrian was worried about all the dragons that taking over the world. Sure, the Firewing did it with fire, but the rest of them are still around, and they basically live forever, and they can gather up resources for a very long time, buying out companies. Corpse. A rattling sound fills the air as a disc grinds in its tray. A few seconds later, the screen fills with text. User Jolly Green Winter. Jolly Green. Last active 54, human, Caucasian, 50 years old. Looking for it's the meet and mate singles dating profile. I'm a fun-loving guy who's also a great listener. I love hiking, clubbing, and all sorts of pets. I'm looking for a cute, funny, adventurous girl who's down to party. I don't respond to profiles without pics. No orcs, no trolls, no fat chicks. Thanks. I mean, that's great. After all that serious story, you gotta have one of those at the end. Alright. Good times, good times. I think we've learned enough about the Firewing for now. Lady Blue, greetings. Ansel peers at you through his battered old pair of wire-rimmed glasses. There is something gentle about the man with his silver hair and tweed jacket. He looks more like an angry art history professor than he looks like a criminal go-between. We need, I don't think there's anything new here. Yeah, this is all just like the tutorial stuff, basically. We're cool. Don't worry about it. Dietrich, anything new from you? Dietrich raises a bottle at your approach. Hey again, boss, you need something? Well, I was thinking about what you told me earlier. You said that your idol was going to make you pick a fight you couldn't win. He shrugs. It's bound to happen eventually. Probably sooner rather than later. I can't believe you've just accepted this. Believe it, boss. If you could feel him talking to you, you'd accept it too. Even if I didn't accept it, I don't see a viable alternative. I can't just turn away from him. He's where my magic comes from, remember? It's probably a moot point anyway. I don't even know if I can refuse him anymore. He's been with me for so long, I don't know where he stops and I begin. He grins at you. Don't you worry about me, boss. I've known that this was coming for my entire life. And when it happens, I'll go down in a blaze of glory, the likes of which you can't even imagine. It's a promise. Well, you can't really believe that your idol wants you to commit suicide. Of course not. The Dragon Slayer doesn't want me to die, but he does want me to kill dragons. That ain't supposed to be safe or easy. It isn't my idol's fault that I'm getting too old to keep up with his wishes. This is not gonna work. What if you were to pick a fight with a different kind of dragon? Say maybe a dragon, or a gang or a corporation. He pauses for a moment. That's an interesting idea. If it were big enough and highness enough, he might get satisfied. I've never tried to bargain or negotiate with the Dragon Slayer before. I'm not sure how I feel about it. And I don't know he'd take it either. The Dragon Slayer doesn't like to be questioned, and his tempers are even shorter than mine, but tell you what, boss, I'll think about it. This is as good as you could possibly hope out of Dietrich. Any updates on your nephew? Nothing new, boss. He's adjusting. It's gonna take some time. Cool. Alright. Thanks, Dietrich. I guess we haven't unlocked his side quest yet to go kill a dragon. Just that's all. You just go kill a dragon. Easy. At the sound of approach, Blitz stubs out his cigarettes. He gives you a curt nod. Lady Blue, I'd offer you a smoke, but that was my last one. How'd that Emily situation turn out? Yeah, well, sort of. It's mostly speculation, truth be told. So, what's the deal? Is she working with the Azzies? Seeing as we have a run for the Azzies coming up? No, I don't think so, but I do have a new lead. After our talk, I went wading into all that Az technology matrix hubs I could find. Nothing too deep, don't worry. I didn't want to set off any alarm bells, but I had a hunch that if I poked around long enough, I'd find something that might lead me to Emily. And sure enough, I did. A message from the Genuine Article herself. Wow. No. We'll just go nicely done. His face brightens. Hey, thanks, Chief. Always good to get a little recognition. It's so easy. Just play him. Blitz's smile dies away. He turns his eyes down to the floor. I can tell you what her note said if you want. He presses forward without waiting for a response. It said, and I quote, "Lay off, Blitz. I told you to leave me alone. You've shown admirable self-control over the past year. Please don't give up on it now. I'll be back when I can, if I can. Until then, keep away from me, for both our sakes." So I found her. She wants nothing to do with me. Again, no explanation, no apologies, just a verbal pat on the head. I've shown admirable self-control. Really? It makes it sound like I'm a toddler or something. So did you lay off like the message said? Hell no, I wasn't gonna stand for that. Where does she get off? Stealing from me and then acting like it was my fault? I tried to trace the message like any good Decker would. I note you used the word tried. He nods grimly. She's good, Lady Blue. Better than I ever thought she was. I couldn't trace the damn thing. I could keep digging, though. I mean, if she noticed me doing it before, I must have been close. Now, before you say anything, I was more discreet this time. I can be subtle if I have to. Nobody noticed what I was doing, and I did find another clue. I hesitate to ask. That's okay, I'll tell you anyway. I found a connection between Emily and Cidercrypt. So, do you think she works for SK then? That she stole the encrypted data to give to them? Well, maybe, I don't know. It's confusing. I was also able to track down some message fragments connecting her to the Shockwellen writer. Ooh. So maybe she was Cidercrypt mole, and she got close to me so she could, I don't know, so she could profit from my decking expertise. Maybe when she told me not to steal the data, she was using reverse psychology. That's gotta be it. She must have wanted me to take it. Girls. He frowns, then shakes his head. But then again, maybe she's with this Shockwellen writer, and she's screwing with the Azzies and the SK. If that's the case, then maybe she was with me because she genuinely wanted to be. He pauses for a moment considering, then all at once he seems to perk up. His chest puffs out, and he nods once, decisively. In either case, I should make an effort to find her. I mean, she's playing a dangerous game, whether she's with SK or the Shockwellen writer. Maybe she's gotten herself in too deep and she might need help. I mean, who wouldn't want a white knight red-headed chap to come rescue her? Well, you know what? Why not? This is his world. Go after her. She's clearly in over her head. Maybe she does need you. You're right, of course. You are absolutely right. Besides, it's not like she can send me a distress call. Her communications are probably being monitored. I bet she spent her whole past year waiting for me to come to the rescue, my lady. Blitz claps his hand. He's gonna get himself killed. I hope we can hire a replacement Decker. Get set, Chief. You're about to witness an event. When my gung-ho personality and legendary skills come together, the whole world stops and takes notice. Yeah, sure it does, Blitz. I can't wait to see how this plays out. You won't even have to wait long. I know just the place to hit. That same S-Technology data node I stole the information from in the first year. I already know that I can get past the security, and my gut tells me I'll find Emily there. Thanks for the encouragement, Chief. I knew that this was the right thing to do, of course, but you've helped to quiet my lingering doubts I might have had. He nods at you, an expression of supreme confidence on his face. And now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a damsel in distress to rescue. Oh boy. 2012. When was this game released? Was this before the big Milady damsel in distress neckbeard stuff memes started? Because dang, that's him for sure. Alright, I know the episode's getting a little bit long. We could have a quick check, see if there's anything new here. We don't really use the tech she buys. The last thing I really want to do is get equipped here for this episode. So I want to go to the magic shop and see if I can get a new spell for Lady Blue so that next episode when we do one of those missions. I'm not sure if I want to do Glory's first or Eiger's first. But we'll do one of them and... you know, maybe I want some new spells for it. Seeing as it's kind of like a small team, it's just me and one of them. As you approach the counter, you find Absinthe reading a small soy-cuff-stained booklet. The pages are old and weathered. Lady Blue, when you speak with the men who are not men, the fleshy puppets imprisoned behind glass, you must remember that they dream. They may not be real people by your definition of the term, but they do have dreams. That alone makes them worth saving. Are we talking about Glory's, She must be referring to the indoctrinated kids that have been caught by that cult. Yeah, that is all I needed. That's all I needed from the absinthe. Alright, how about this? Show me your goods. So first off, let's sell... I mean, it's worth 300 bucks. It looks like a pretty good shotgun or rifle, whatever it was, but you need a data jack, and I can't equip it, and I don't think I can get anyone else to equip it, so we make a little bit more money. Very close to being able to get the Alice Fund finished if we wanted. Alright, and we might be able to sell some of our spells depending on what I can buy here. So it might even make a little bit more money back. So, I don't suppose there's new armor or anything to actually give us like a permanent buff. We've got like willpower spellcasting. We've got willpower charisma. I mean, I don't know if that charisma point is worth very much. I could trade 1 charisma for 1 spellcasting, and that might make me... But I think spellcasting is mostly for the offensive magic spells. Like, I don't think an equipment +1 means you can learn the spell. I think you need like your base level to be high enough to learn the spell. And then a higher level spellcasting just improves its effectivity. But for buff type spells, I don't think it really does anything. It's just for... Like, if you're trying to cast Fireball, higher spellcasting probably means you more accurate or more damage, maybe. So we're probably not going to change that. Technically, could look for some more fetishes. At some point, I should probably get Spirit Summoning 6. Maybe, like, for the final battle, I'll want to pop a couple elementals. Whenever we get to the big boss battle at the very end of the game. So I think, like, my priority here, we've got Spellcasting 6, so... You know, Lightning Bolt 3, sure, looks awesome, but we need to spend a lot of points to get that upgraded. It really does look pretty awesome, don't get me wrong. That's a lot of damage and AP damage. But, even Flamethrower, 25 damage is pretty crazy. Maybe one day. Wonder if there's new spells here. Like, I never can tell easily if there's new stuff. Distraction is negative hit chance. It doesn't matter. The AI cheats and hits you anyway, so that doesn't change. Stun Bolt. 2 AP for 1... I think that's a waste of a spell. You have to spend your entire turn to reduce their spell, their AP by 1. Like, that just... It's like you spend your entire turn for someone to get half turns for a while. Like, I don't know. Doesn't seem very good. So, Aim 3 we can learn now. It's pretty cheap. Let's pick it up. We want Armor 3. Eventually there might be a Heal 3, but I don't see it yet. I might want Strip Armor as well. We'd have to unequip one of our current spells, but we're not bringing Dietrich, so like Lady Blue is kind of our one caster. And everyone else is physical, so we're not really doing a lot of magic damage. And this gives you a nice way for weakening an opponent so that, like, -6 armor is huge. Then we don't have to worry about stripping armor or anything the same. It's cheap enough, I think we should just buy it. And then we can re-equip those. Unless there's some really good conjuring stuff that I haven't considered. I mean, until they start selling the higher tier conjuring spells, there's no point really buffing up my summoning that much, or my conjuring that much. Because, like, surely there'll be Haste 4 and the Hellfire Barrier and all that, but we haven't unlocked them yet. So let's just buy those. And then switch them over. So, I really don't use that mana ball very often. I don't know. That might be what I get rid of. That over. So we used to have +4 armor with a 2-turn cooldown. Now we've got +6 armor with a 2. Like, that's a great upgrade, right? Aim, we had +18% for 6 turns, or that's what we have now. We used to have, just for comparisons purposes, we used to have 15% for 4 turns. Like, it lasts 50% longer, and it's got a little bit higher bonus. Like, that's a really good upgrade. I think that'll really help out. I really don't get a good lightning barrier very often. I like haste, although it's difficult to use properly in my opinion because it doesn't last long enough and it takes your entire turn to cast. And I really don't use the 2 AP mana ball very often, so I think we switch that out and we add strip armor, which lasts for the entire battle. So all you do is cast it on a boss, they lose 6 armor permanently, and then the rest of the team kills them. And I don't think you can miss with these spells. Well, we'll find out, but unlike your standard fireball type stuff, I think it just applies, like it just works. So it seems like that's a pretty good idea to me. We're really not using very much conjuring, but it's fine. Maybe I've got enough money I could start using my my fetishes to summon stuff. Just use buffs for Lady Blue and then the spirit to do damage. Maybe. Anyway, I should really sell that stuff before we get out here. So we don't need that anymore, or that, or that. Well, we can hold on to it, but it's fine. So we get a fair bit of our money back. Just on the off chance, was there a better weapon to equip at this point? We could switch between spellcasting and conjuring. We could have both, actually. It's kind of expensive. Eh. I don't have a lot to spend my money on right now. I already have one air elemental fetish, right? I can't remember which one was the best. We clearly can't use fire or earth, but we could get one air and one water. I mean, I think a lot of my problem is I'm just not summoning these guys enough. And then Lady Blue seems really weak because she doesn't have any summons. But we've got like a fair bit of money. So now we've got a level 5 water and a level 5 air. I don't know. I think that might be worth it. Be nice to get a better robe, but keep in mind, with all I have to do is put armor on, and this turns into 9 defense, which is almost the cap. As soon as we get a level 4 armor robe, if we can find one, we can hit the armor cap with that. And that's assuming there's not an armor 4. If there's an armor 4 spell, we can already do it one day when we get that. So I'm pretty happy. Anything new, by the way? Any questions? You're in luck. I have a great many answers. No, we got no questions. It seems like most of the NPCs don't update their dialogue very often. Your crew does, but the rest of the town mostly stays the same. Maybe after one of these side missions, I'll double check all the people. We'll do another Krut's Bazaar adventure, but for now I want to go do another mission. I'm not sure which one yet. I think it's Eiger's that'll... Oh, if it's Eiger's, it's actually not down here. I think Eiger's was at the bar we're supposed to go to. We'll probably follow the mission markers too. Was this the one somewhere around here? Yeah, Der Weinkeller. So next episode we'll go talk to her contact. And we'll get her mission started. And that'll be fun. So thanks for watching, folks. Hope you've enjoyed. Hopefully my new upgrades for Lady Blue will help out in the next battle. I figure if we're going to be doing a couple side quests with just Lady Blue and one other, you know, buffing her up a little bit more, or making her a little bit more powerful might be a good idea. And we do have, you know, an alternative magic attack. We can go with acid over damage over time. Or, like, I guess like what I was thinking is, like, if you got one hit of acid bolt, the dot doesn't stack. You can't put 2 stacks of it on people, so then you might as well just do damage after that. Also, it's possible chance to hit is different with the 2. We'll find out as we go on. Like, our spellcasting is the same as our conjuring, so I would expect it to be similar. But, you know, we'll find out. Anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for watching, folks. Hope you've enjoyed, and have a great day.